In the silence of the night, a shadow appears at isolated military checkpoints. No voice, no face, only fear. The question is, was it human or something else entirely? Dare to find out. This is Whisper from History, where forgotten voices rise again. Night after night, across desolate stretches of highway in remote borderlands, a figure began to appear at military checkpoints, a lone silhouette standing perfectly still beneath flickering floodlights. The guards who kept watch over these passages were hardened men trained to face danger without fear, yet something about this figure made even the bravest soldiers grip their rifles just a little tighter. It always started the same way. A convoy rolled in under the shadow of midnight engines, whispering through dust and grit. The lead vehicle would slow its pace, headlights catching a glimpse of someone standing in the center of the roadway, motionless, silent, wrapped in something that looked like an old military coat but too large to be standard issue. The soldiers would shout a warning. Their echoes faded into the night, but the figure never responded. At first they thought it was a civilian lost or confused, but as the weeks went on, the sightings became too consistent to deliberate. Every checkpoint, the same figure always standing in the same way. The soldiers began to whisper among themselves. They called it the shadow. Some said the figure was a ghost from a forgotten war. Others said it was a deserter, wandering the earth, unable to return home. Then one night, a soldier finally stepped forward and tried to speak to it. He took slow, careful steps across the gravel, toward the still silhouette. His voice trembled, but not from the cold. "Who are you?" The figure did not answer it, only stood there, head slightly tilted, as if listening to something far beyond the realm of human hearing. The soldier reached out to touch the coat, and in that split second, the floodlights flickered. The figure vanished. No sound, no footprints, no trace. The checkpoint was silent except for the hum of the generators. A chill settled in the air, and no one could explain what they had seen. Was it fear or something else? The story spread from post to post. Entire units started reporting sleepless nights. Soldiers began refusing to work the late shift. They claimed to hear footsteps outside the barracks, and voices whispering in languages no one recognized. One soldier swore he saw the figure standing outside his window in the dead of night, even though their base was miles from the nearest checkpoint. He closed his eyes for a moment, and when he opened them, the figure had drifted away into the darkness as though swallowed by the wind. But this was only the beginning. Military command tried to dismiss the rumors. They issued strict orders. No talk of ghosts or legends. We are men of discipline, not fear. But even commanders cannot silence what soldiers see with their own eyes. Tension grew as patrols became shorter. More defensive guards started doubling up, terrified to stand alone. Then something new happened one night. During a routine inspection, an officer noticed a strange mark etched into the checkpoint gate. A long vertical line intersected by three shorter ones like tally marks, or something older, more symbolic. The officer ordered the symbol to be scrubbed away, but the next morning it reappeared, this time scratched into the metal of a vehicle door. No one saw who did it. No one knew how it got there, but it was the same mark, the one they began calling the sign of the shadow. What did it mean? Who was placing it there? Some said it marked the places the figure had passed. Others believed it was a warning, a sign that something was being watched or counted, but counted by whom? A young private decided to prove his courage. He stayed alone on the checkpoint road one night, refusing to blink, waiting for the figure to return. Hours ticked by. The desert wind howled. Then in the pale shine of moonlight, he saw it again. The shadow standing just beyond the gate. The private raised his rifle and called out, "Show yourself." He stepped forward, and something caught his foot. A small object in the dirt, a rusted dog tag. He picked it up and read the name. It belonged to a soldier who had gone missing in action more than 20 years ago, a soldier whose body was never recovered. The private looked up. The shadow was gone. Was this a coincidence, or the sign of something buried long ago? More dog tags began to appear at checkpoints scattered across the region, different names, different years. Some from wars the current guards were too young to even remember. It was as if someone or something was returning what had been lost, but why now? Why here? The truth was far darker than anyone imagined. During the construction of the checkpoint system decades earlier, an entire platoon had vanished without a trace. They were on transport duty during a sandstorm. Their convoy swept off the map. No bodies, no vehicles, no sign of struggle. Official reports buried the incident as an accident, but local villagers spoke of ancient burial grounds beneath the road's lands that should never have been touched. Lands where the dead walked at night, searching for their own. Could the figure be connected to them, a lost soul, a soldier whose mission never ended? Days turned into nights, and the presence grew stronger. Guards began hearing voices through their radios, not human voices but static-filled whispers, calling their names. One man claimed he heard his own brother, a soldier who died years ago in a faraway conflict, asking, "Why did you leave me? Why did you not return from me?" Fear turned to obsession. Command finally ordered an investigation. A team of military historians and spiritual advisors were brought in. Quiet meetings were held behind closed doors. Old war logs were re-examined. One document found in a forgotten archive revealed something astonishing. The missing platoon had been transporting classified remains, relics from a battlefield, said to be cursed. The soldiers were warned never to look. Inside the crates they were carrying fragments of uniforms, bones, letters, left behind by men who died in agony. Did these relics bind the souls of the lost? Did the shadow follow them into death? One expert suggested a ritual of release, a ceremony to honor the dead and free them, but before it could be arranged, the sightings suddenly stopped. The figure vanished from the checkpoints. No more whispers, no more dog tags returned. The soldiers hoped it was over, but deep down they knew something had changed. Then weeks later, a lone driver passing through an abandoned checkpoint in the early dawn swore he saw a figure walking along the road. No uniform, no weapon, but something heavy hung around his neck. A chain of dog tags, dozens of them clattering softly in the rising wind. He never turned, he just walked toward the horizon. As the sun climbed into the sky, was he leading them home? Were the lost finally at peace? Or was this only the beginning of a haunting no one could ever truly escape? The night may have ended, but believe it or not, that shadow might still be standing there waiting for someone to appear. If you liked this story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel.